course, there's a political component, right? All art is inherently political. Either
straight in with the best ones. All art is inherently political. Some dude just smeared all over the wall, and of course that's art because anything can be art. And you see, there's deep politics in it.
But it's uncanny how similar normal average guy language can be to politically motivated propaganda.
Oh my god, Portland. Is the disabled black person themselves huffing fentanyl? Are they part of the exhibit or not, I wonder?
Even though Charlie's really mad at it, it's a distinction that characterizes
oh my god,
his entire
please!
body of work.
Stop saying he's mad! Oh my god. Are you mad? 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 It's so insufferable.
Lover Stephen Arabino from AIDS. Los Angeles conceptual.
No way! It's about AIDS! There's no way it's about AIDS! Oh god, that's unbelievable. What a fucking thing. Well, the guy that owned it was riddled with AIDS. What now? Dude, it's perfect. Okay, so this came up the other day. We were talking about Anissa Joma, and Yoko Ono came up, and it started off this autistic discussion about modern art. Okay, I actually quite like some modern art pieces. I'm not like an anti-modern art person. I'm not, that way inclined. I think that some modern art pieces are interesting and do have like an interesting story to tell and are worth looking at and are worth considering, right? But I just find the kind of conversation about it so autistic and often extremely semantic, right? Because often when someone is saying that's not art, I don't think what they're saying is, I'm wanting to have an autistic discussion about what art is or what art means, okay? What they're saying is this doesn't provide value or meaning or substance, There's nothing here that's being offered. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what they're getting at. But people are like, well, anything can be art, actually. And it's just like, yeah, of course. We can go down that route if you want, but then surely, if we get to a point where anything can be art, then nothing is art at the same time, because it's a meaningless term. It's basically the gender discussion for art, right? If I identify as an artist and I put something out, regardless of a analysis, discussion, or commentary on how good or valuable the piece is, and that's art, that just seems worthless to me. Then it's like it becomes a pointless concept, So, I would probably agree that art does not have a specific enough definition where you can exclude something from being art. But then, well, who cares about what art is and isn't if anything can be art? Well, what value does something bring? Let's talk about that instead. Let's talk about the value and what is actually in the thing, Thank you for the level 12. Appreciate it. And also, I think there's another thing as well, right? So, the fountain, Duchamp's, is it Duchamp? I can never remember the name. The fountain is actually an interesting piece of modern art, okay? Because, at the time when it was submitted, it said something. The whole point of it is there was this exhibition, and it was, as long as you pay the fee, you can basically put whatever you want in, to put it very simply. So this dude came along and was like, oh, I'm just going to put a urinal in, and that's going to be my art piece. I'm going to call it the fountain. And he did that, and he made a quite interesting, clever commentary on, well, if you're going to say, I can submit something, regardless of what it is, I do that, well, is that art then? And there's an interesting piece, and it's an interesting conversation around that, okay? Okay? But when it's the fucking millionth time, oh, I'm going to shit on a plate and put it in an art gallery, and that's art. I'm just like Duchamp, aren't I? No, you're a retard that shat on a plate. Do you know what I mean? It's like, dude, it's such an insufferable thing where people do it again and again and again and again. And constantly we hear the same thing. But it's art. Anything can be art. Yeah, that was an interesting point in the 20s or the 30s whenever the fountain was first submitted. But not on the millionth fucking time when it's 2024. We got to see another fucking, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. Do you see what I mean? I'm not anti-modern art. I like modern art. I like the concept and idea of pieces having a meaning beyond some technical expertise that you can show in a painting or something. But God, give it a fucking rest with this autistic, pretentious nonsense of anything's art. Therefore, I can take a piss in a bottle and chuck it at a wall and that's art. And if you say otherwise, I'm going to autistically argue with you about what art really means and the semantic definition of art. People are saying to you it doesn't offer value or meaning or beauty. That's what they're trying to get across to you. And that's what it should be focused on. Not, well, art can be anything, actually. God, it's, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So,
okay, that's wonderful.
you know.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
There's a great video. All art is pretentious. Basically the intention to evoke a higher valuation of the structure than its composing materials.
Thank you for the $5. And in the context of Yoko Ono, someone sends a clip of Yoko Ono screaming into a mic in an art gallery. Someone looks at it and goes, that's not art. The response is, from Anissa, well, no, it is art because you shared it. But they're not arguing, they're not looking for this argument of the semantics. They're saying, this does not bring value or meaning to the world. It's a bunch of bullshit, okay? And this is why I do understand, as much as I think there are some like stupid criticisms of modern art and stuff, I understand why people get annoyed with this modern art autism, you know, because it is frustrating that you're trying to engage on a level and people just want to argue about the semantics of what the word art means rather than get to the fundamental point of what you're talking about, you know? And I actually went to the Tate Modern fairly recently, last year I went to the Tate Modern, and you know, there were some pieces that, I mean, if you want to call it all art, that's fine. I guess if you want to have that conversation, it's a bit boring, but sure, we can talk about what art means. But like, there's some pieces that I liked and I thought, this is interesting. And there's other pieces that I didn't like. What does it matter whether I think it's art or not, right? Like, what about the conversation and the meaning of it and the absurdity of like certain pieces and why it's retarded that would be considered alongside the other pieces that are there, you know? Anyway, that's my take on it. That's my perspective. You know, I think that a long time ago, there was a video that Paul Joseph Watson did about art and stuff. And then Anthony Fantano responded. And Anthony Fantano, I think, did a fairly decent response and pointed out some of the issues with like Paul's take. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a good video. But now we're going to watch the, I guess, latest iteration of that kind of concept, which is Ethan is Online, the video about modern art that he did. Okay? So strap in. We love a bit of ETH tent here. The video is called You're Wrong About Modern Art. See, that's interesting because the Anthony Fantano video is Paul Joseph Watson is wrong. This is not a specific individual has got some bad takes. It's you're wrong. So I'm interested to see how he's going to capture everyone's perspective and debunk it. When, you know, presumably this is going to be more of a subjective thing, right? But anyway, let's see what happens, okay?
I have a confession to make. I like the banana duct tape wall. I'll say.
How do I make money off depressed people?
Mojo Blojo with the super chat. Please check out my iDubbbz diss track. Okay, I'll have a look at it at some point. Thank you very much for the super chat.
That's pretty cool art. And then when that guy came up and ate the banana, that's even more art.
Straight away. The millionth piece of modern art that is showing that anything can be art if you want it to be. That's actually really good, clever art. Oh my God, why has no one thought of this before? Why has no one thought of doing some crazy thing to demonstrate that art can be anything? I've never heard of this before. Wowee. It's art. It's art.
I used to hate modern art. I used to think it was too simple, too easy. It's not like,
wow, it's so subversive. It's so subversive and clever. Oh my goodness. Wow, why has no one ever done something like this before, dude?
like the Mona Lisa. That's art. I thought it was less valuable than something more realistic because it didn't take as much skill. I used to think that until I actually went to an art museum and I learned about the stuff I was looking at. I learned the contexts, the purpose, the skill behind making these pieces. And it started to make sense. And since then, I feel like I've only benefited from having more of an open-minded perspective about art.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Something can just be like a troll. Like, that's probably a better way to describe it. Like some dumb troll or something. I don't know, right? It's this insistence that you must call it art, and anyone that disputes you, you've got to explain to them that actually art can be anything, and they just don't get it. Whereas they're just saying, this fucking sucks, you know?
I guess he was having a bad day that day.
Yeah, modern art can be weird and frustrating and confusing, but rather than embracing and trying to understand those feelings and why you feel them, so many people choose to let that frustration trick them into thinking the art is at fault. That's not true. It's like a defense mechanism for nuance. Before we get into it though, this video is sponsored by Raycon.
The Raycon sponsorship based. Absolute cinema. The Raycon sponsorship. Love it. Anyway, download Raid Shadow Legends today. Exclamation mark raid in chat, okay? God, I can already tell this is going to be just an absolute endless bowl of pretension shoved down my gullet, isn't it? Oh my God. Oh, man. Also, the other thing as well is, you know, it's like this objective criticism thing or whatever, right? Where, I don't know what the correct language is to describe it, but like, obviously technical proficiency in something is something that you can look at and think about, right? So someone recreating an image with technical proficiency using materials is something, whereas just flicking a line of black paint up a wall and going, yep, that's art, right? Like it might say something or speak to something, but I think, you know, we would look at the first piece and go, well, this has got more technical proficiency in the way that the person has gone about creating this piece, right? Or something like that, you know?
Now. It's summertime now, and the song of the summer is already here. It's Pineapple Upside Down by Queef Jerky.
Pineapple upside down, yeah. In the toilet, I make a brown, yeah. In the ocean, yeah. I drown, yeah. Make some motion to the sound, yeah.
I'm in that. And if you want to hear the new
Oh my God, dude. That was still when him and Lex were on good terms, I guess. I mean, him and Nick's Not Green.
song, you're going to need premium audio. And thanks to Raycon, I'm giving it to you. You need to be able to hear Pineapple Upside Down with Raycon. You have to. Raycon's wireless earbuds start at just half the price of other premium audio brands, but you get all the same kind of juicy sound quality in there. They have noise isolation, 32-hour battery life. You already know. We already know all this. Listen, Mike Tyson, Snoop Dogg, Ray J, Ethan is online. What do we all have in common? We love Raycon. There's so many different colors to choose from, different fits, different patterns, different styles. You're definitely going to find the pair that's made for you. You will. Raycon even has a 30-day return policy, so if for whatever reason you don't love the earbuds, you can send them right back and they won't ask you any questions. They're not allowed. I listen to music every day. I can't stop.
I'll never buy Raycons now. I mean, look, I need to be cautious because who knows whether the Raycon marketing department is listening, okay? But I understand that Raycons are, you know, they're all right. Nothing to shout home about.
My new song just sounds so good, and I like using Raycons because it's just a quick and easy way to get that juicy premium sound quality without breaking the bank. If you click the link in the description, you can get 15% off your Raycon purchase, or go to buyraycon.com/Ethan, again, for 15% off your Raycon purchase. Thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring the video. Please check out Raycon. It does really help the channel, and that's it. Of course, there's a political component, right? All art is inherently political. Either
Straight in with the best ones. All art is inherently political. Some dude just smeared shit all over the wall. And of course, that's art because anything can be art. And you see, there's deep politics in it because the food that he ate in order to do that was actually food that was purchased from unethical sources. So he is making a commentary on the unethicalness of life and the circle of the shit on the wall. Bro, come on, dude. Bro.
really help your Raycon purchase. Thank you so much to Raycon for sponsoring the video. Please check out Raycon. It does really help the channel. And that's it. Of course, there's a political component, right? All art is inherently political, either in its influences, messages, or implication. 101, guys, this is baby stuff. Art critique is really just opinion, but a lot of
Oh my god, dude. This is baby stuff. Very condescending, very pretentious. Yeah, this is just correct, guys. I'm just correct about this. Fuck me, dude. Yeah, the leftoid smugness.
people let right-wing propaganda cloud their judgment of modern art, whether they realize it or not. All because it helps them feel better in not wanting to engage with it. In an idea.
Wait, what? Right-wing prop... Wait, what? Is it really right-wing propaganda to look at something and have a subjective analysis of it and go, yeah, this sucks. I don't really consider this art because it sucks. I think it sucks. No, that's right-wing propaganda, guys. That is crazy. In Praise of Shadows 2.0, I mean, in fairness, this was before. Everything is political. If you don't like going to watch some guy shit in a toilet as a modern art piece, you're a conservative, actually. You're just a right-winger. Just desperately trying to pump their fucking leftoid political bullshit into everything they possibly can at every angle. Jesus Christ.
In the ideal conservative world, art is interpreted for people through a YouTube video full of lying, misinformation, emotional manipulation, false comparisons. But this happens every day. PragerU has made at least a dozen videos fooling your old grandpa about modern art.
My favorite political art is Giantess Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob cockvering multiple cars. The inherent politics are because the Nissan that goes up Sandy's urethra is made by child labor.
Thank you, Herpaguba, for the 333.
All of them are completely nonsense and wrong.
Okay, can we be real for a second? This is from July 2023. We're still dunking on PragerU. Really? Hey guys, PragerU, PragerU, PragerU. Hey guys, PragerU kind of sucks, am I right? Oh my god, PragerU is so bad. Isn't PragerU really bad? It's making your granddad think stupid things about art. It's so tired and boring. I've heard it all before, dude. Better from funnier people.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Speaking of smearing shit on the wall being political, the dung-eater anally graping carcasses in Elden Ring is an allegory for Marxism.
Okay.
Unironically.
Thanks for the $5. Maybe the mask should stay on.
But
What do you
I make
mean,
money off
dude?
depressed people?
Thank you for the super chat. Listen, I'm not... dude. I just said it as a joke, okay? Obviously. Or was it? Post-irony. Meta-irony. Post-irony meta. You don't know anymore.
But why is it that I hear the same boring, shallow, fragile talking points from people who should be way more in touch with culture? Listen, yeah, I know his face is in the thumbnail, and yeah, this video is kind of about Charlie. But listen, it's not personal. I'm trying to compare content that realistically should have nothing in common. Fascist propaganda.
Fascist propaganda. PragerU is not fascist propaganda. It is the most cookie-cutter neoconservative trash going. What? Fascist propaganda? What are you on about, dude?
Gamer, streamer should not be saying the same things. The difference is PragerU's content is motivated and has an agenda. Charlie is just being a useful idiot for that agenda, with peace and love. I know it's not
A useful idiot for that agenda. He's trying to say that Charlie is right-wing because he didn't like some sloppy modern art, presumably. I've not watched the video about it. Huh? He's just given his takes on what is probably, you know, a technically retarded piece of art that everyone's lauding because it's some gay trans made it and they were on their deathbed when they finished it or something. I don't know, bro. Oh my god. Do you remember? There was a funny thing that happened recently where there's this painting that was unfinished, and the reason it's unfinished, no joke, is because the guy died from AIDS before he finished it, right? And so the unfinished painting has become this kind of like story about people tragically being taken from us from having AIDS. And then recently, someone got that and used AI to finish it, and people freaked the fuck out about it, right? Which is very funny to me, because that is very much the spirit of modern art, used against things they care about, right? Like the absurdity of completing a piece which is so important because it wasn't finished is exactly the kind of thing that they like. It's like piss Christ for wokes, essentially, right? This is something that is obviously going to be very upsetting and offensive to you, and I'm going to do it because I know it will upset and offend you, right? Literally the heart and spirit of, current day modern art, and they couldn't take it and they couldn't hack it and they freaked the fuck out about it. Very, very funny when that happened. Anyway.
On purpose. Charlie doesn't watch PragerU for his art analysis content. He probably didn't even get the talking points from them, but they're still saying the same thing. Charlie's...
money off
Are
depressed
they?
people?
On a base level, art is nice to you if you like it. Smiley face.
Thank you for the £5. Because the thing is, I think that I can imagine PragerU probably does have very boomer takes on it and probably is dismissive of, modern art, which I would probably like and would consider to have some sort of merit, right? So I wouldn't necessarily go the PragerU thing. I would have imagined that Charlie is probably looking at something that is like a current day modern art monstrosity and calling it out for being shit, right? But let's see, I guess. We'll see. I just find I'm very skeptical about the idea that PragerU and Charlie have got like the same take about this and there's a link there,
He's just an average guy with an average brain in his head. Florida average, but average. But it's uncanny how similar normal average guy language can be to politically motivated propaganda. Content that we all know is dishonest. Listen, it's nothing personal, it's nothing against Charlie. I've met him before, he's very nice. I just don't know why he's like this. Okay, first things first, why is Modern Art So Bad by PragerU from 8 years ago? Like a painting. We're laying down the foundation of what I'm going to be talking about. And since this video is made to target fatherless teenagers, Robert Florczak is here to help us all think.
From Leonardo to Rembrandt to Bierstadt, produced works that inspired, uplifted, and deepened us. And they did this by demanding of themselves the highest standards of excellence, improving upon the work of each previous generation of masters, and continuing to aspire to the highest quality attainable.
Conservatives are so artistically and creatively bankrupt that their understanding of art hits a hard limit at, if it's not pretty, I don't want to see it. This old stuff, it's pretty and it took a long time, so that means it's better. They pretend like they don't think exactly like that.
I mean, obviously PragerU are, got a certain message that they want to put out there, being a right-wing outlet. But the guy talking there, I mean, if he's an artist, if he's like a classical artist kind of guy, I totally understand how if someone is a proficient artist is going to be bothered by what they perceive as very low effort material, because it's like, well,
goes on a 3-minute rant about a box fan art piece.
Thank you very much for the $5. I get it, right? I mean, I don't agree with them necessarily, because there's some stuff which the point of it is the lack of effort and whatever. But like, I get why someone would be annoyed about that. If you spent all this time, like imagine you spent all this time dedicated to your craft, becoming a fantastic watercolor, real life artist or whatever, okay? And you reach a stage where no one's interested in your paintings, and then some schmuck comes along, tapes a banana to a wall, and gets like $1 million or something. It would be annoying. You'd be annoyed with it. You got a personal issue with it then, right? It's kind of like taxi drivers. Taxi drivers that get annoyed with Uber. Taxi drivers spend all this time learning the routes and understanding the city and getting to grips with it, charging a higher premium for that, only for some foreigner to come along with a sat-nav, completely undercut you and destroy your way of making an income. I like Uber, but I understand why a taxi driver would be pissed off with that. Do you see what I mean? It's the same sort of thing. Of course the guy's going to be upset that someone is coming on, fucking undermining his entire career.
But they do.
But something happened on the way to the 20th century. The profound, the inspiring, and the beautiful were replaced by the new, the different, and the ugly.
Ethan looks like the guy who would lick the ranch sauce off your plate at a restaurant.
Jim Rockwell, thank you for the $5.
Nah, new art style's ugly. I mean, that's mad. Not only is that completely subjective, but the other two are synonyms in this context. Robert, what are we doing? But also, he's talking about Impressionism. Ugly? Yeah? Ugly? There's a reason they aren't using any actual examples.
Today, the silly, the pointless, and the purely offensive are held up as the best of modern art.
I guess this last one is supposed to be Warhol, I guess. People typically like those. They can't
Wait, what?
use really supposed to be Warhol.
I don't think so. I'd presume he's probably talking about like Piss Christ and stuff like that. Like pieces where the point is how pissed off it makes people, right? No? That's what I would imagine they're referring to.
I guess people typically like those. They can't use real examples because people relate.
Prager doesn't like Warhol. Oh, I get it now. Okay. The reference, the four things. Okay. Yeah. I get it now. I misunderstood. I get it now.
And connect to modern art. But in order to manipulate the viewer more efficiently, they have to use blank straw men to apply all their talking points to. You're telling me you can't think of one example?
Well, I think it's referencing Warhol, but I think the offensive thing is referring to a specific type of work, like the Piss Christ type thing. But they're just so happening to use Warhol because it's an example of like a modern artist or something. But anyway. Turn off H Burger Guy. I'm just trying to get some ETH tent out there, okay? Come on.
The examples that they do use in this video are of like extremely graphic modern art. It's like that's a bad example. You're talking about like Warhol, and then you're talking about like the pissing woman statue.
Why is that a bad example? What? Like, maybe, is this not what they're talking about? What even is this? I've never seen this one before. What's going on here? Sniffer. Any sniffers?
I don't know if those are exactly comparable.
Michelangelo carved his David out of a rock. The Los Angeles County Museum of Art just offers us a rock. A rock. All 340 tons of it. That's how far standards have fallen.
Again, more deceptive language, more lying by omission. We all know Michelangelo and his classic rock, but weird that he left the artist out of the second one, right? That's just the LA County Museum of Arts' rock. It's actually called Levitated Mass, if you even care. It's by Michael Heiser. I've seen it in person, and
oh my god, dude. This is probably, this is like my one issue with this modern art. The biggest issue I probably have with it, beyond the semantic shit, is, oh, I need to spend 20 minutes explaining to you why this is actually a very prominent, proficient piece. Here's a guideline to explain why this art is actually meaningful and important. You know? Like, it's not something that you can just look at and get an understanding of what's going on. It's, you need to have it explained to you, you fucking cretinous retard. You don't understand what this is. Let me explain it to you, and then maybe you'll get it, you fucking moron, you know?
and it's really cool. What Robert Florczak leaves out of this video is the actual experience of this sculpture. It's not just a rock that you look at like other sculptures. It's a sculpture that you walk under, standing directly beneath tens.
Wow. You stand under it? Wowee. I think the point, God, this is going to make me agree with the fucking PragerU video, dude. This is crazy. Okay. But I think the point that the guy's making, I would go to this and I would probably like it, okay? Just to let you know, right? I would probably enjoy the experience of doing this, okay? And sure, the PragerU thing is probably like a bit deceptive. But I think the point that the guy's making in that video is that, you know, there was a technical proficiency of the guy carving it out of a rock that isn't replicated in this piece, and he doesn't like that, right? Okay? I think that is more so the point that he's trying to make. Is it a bit deceptive to get the point across the line? Sure. PragerU are fucking propagandists, so of course they're going to put the thumb on the scale at points. But yeah, I think his
Okay, that's
concern is probably
wonderful.
more
But
about
how do I
the
make
lack of
money off depressed people?
proficiency
Ethan
in
gave
creating
us up at the
something, you know?
Greyhound station in Tacoma, Washington for a wet cigarette and
No, I'd
half
like
of a
this, to be
chicken.
fair. I would probably
Floated
like
it
this.
all like a baby back rib.
Okay, thanks for the $5. I'd probably enjoy this. Like I say, I'm a modern art enjoyer. Okay, I'd probably get a kick out of this. You know, but I just think that, yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud, we know why this upsets you. We know you go by Picasso.
Very true.
We know how you paint.
Thank you for the $5.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Oh my
But how do I
God,
make
the
money
£20.
off
Holy
depressed people?
shit.
Ethan is
Thank
the type
you.
of guy that would say he is into skating because of all the hip skate wear, but will instantly pee and poo himself the second he is forced to step on a skateboard because he is too scared of injuries.
But yeah. And I think the other thing as well is, like, you know, yeah, it's gonna then become a discussion about, okay, so sure, call this art if you wish, but like, you know, the discussion of the technical proficiency and the talent it takes to do one and the other and stuff, that all then becomes relevant. But it's just like a very simplistic. You just don't understand it. You think modern art sucks. You don't understand it. You know, it's a very reductive way of looking at it, and clearly, very like it's a very smug kind of like, you know, you just don't get it, man. Very insufferable.
Of thousands of pounds of rock, older than anything around it, suspended just enough by these small brackets. That is art. It's easy to dismiss this sculpture when you've never seen it in person. Most physical art, especially sculpture, was never meant to be looked at on a fucking screen. It's like watching the theater bootleg recording of half of a movie. You didn't really see it, did you? Is levitating mass everyone's favorite sculpture? No, it's not even mine. But if someone told me their favorite statue was Michelangelo's David, then it probably means that they don't really know about any other ones. Levitating mass is...
Oh my God. You just haven't seen enough sculptures if you like Michelangelo. That is crazy. That's a crazy take. I mean, that is like seen as one of the most proficient pieces of like modeling, particularly considering the technology that was available at the time. Also, isn't he kind of doing the same thing that he's claiming the Rightoids are doing, but in reverse? No?
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Hey, thanks for the $1. Giant Chicago bean. It's a neat novelty thing that you look at for a few minutes, maybe take a pic at and move on. I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
here's another
wonderful.
thing to
But
consider
how
as
do I
well,
make
right?
money off depressed people?
Michelangelo, or whatever the fuck it's called, David, I can't remember its name, okay? Which kind of undermines the point I'm about to make. But that has been seen and recognized for generation after generation of being like what it is. Is this rock going to have the same thing? Are they going to talk about the rock in 200 years' time, in 500 years' time, in 1,000 years' time? You know? Unlikely. Unlikely. It's like, you know, you
Okay,
might
that's
listen to a
wonderful.
modern day
But
pop
how do I
song,
make
but it's probably not going to
money
go down in
off depressed
history
people?
like the
My
Beatles have,
5-foot back
you know?
dragon Mule Wang is better than David.
Thank you very much for the $5. And I think that's probably a problem with some of these modern art pieces as well, is none of it is going to have a historical relevance or significance, particularly if it's that just looking at a picture of it is not enough. You can look at a picture of, you know, an ancient sculpted statue and you see it there. Whereas with modern art, it's like if you have to be there to experience it, once that's gone, well, what is left, you know? But yeah, I don't know. Beetlejuice. Anyway. Are we watching this because Anissa said something dumb about art? Yes, and because Ethan content is great and based, okay? Yeah, political art won't outlive its generation. Yeah.
built to stand exactly like that for thousands of years. That's longer than David's statue is going to be around. So if that's not cool to you,
Dude, this guy sounds... What was
let's
that?
see who made the sculpture No, it's not even mine. But if someone told me their favorite statue was Michelangelo's David, then it probably means that they don't really know about any other ones. Levitating mass is built to stand exactly like that for thousands of years. That's longer than David's statue is going to be around, so if that's...
Yeah, but do you really think that that piece is going to be considered and seen in the same way and discussed in the same fashion for years and years to come? I just don't buy that. Obviously, it's impossible to know, but I think in 500 years, if you were to ask someone, that it's more likely they would, you know, remember and recognize Michelangelo's David versus that thing, you know? Yeah, just because something is around for a long time doesn't necessarily mean it's got that value. Whereas something that's got this technical proficiency that's been applied is more likely to like stand the test of time. You know, again, it's like, you know, there's modern music that you can listen to that you like and enjoy and get a kick out of, and it's art because it's music or whatever, but it's not going to have the same test of time as music from hundreds of years ago because of the technical proficiency and the important context of that music at the time that's lasted for years, you know? Anyway.
It's not cool to you, let's see who has more statues in 3,000 years.
Whatever their intentions, the new modernists sowed the seeds of aesthetic relativism, the beauty is in the eye of the beholder mentality.
Ah, yes, the art expert here to tell us that art can be scientifically measured and is objective. It just needs to look like real life, and the more like real life it looks, the better it is. This guy...
Oh my God, I bet the EFAP guys had a great time with that. I don't really know this whole objective. Oh, dude, I don't fucking know, man. I just think there are things that you can look at and analyze that, you know, something being well put together does have some value. Whether that is an objective thing, I don't know. That sounds like again another semantic disagreement or point. But yeah, why are two Ethans on the screen? Show me the difference.
Has the brain of a fish.
Today, everybody loves the Impressionists. And as with most revolutions, the first generation or so produced work of genuine merit. Monet, Renoir, and Degas still maintained elements of disciplined design and
Wait a second. Wasn't Ethan pointing to this kind of picture earlier and being like, "Oh, you don't think that's beautiful?" But then here he is saying, "No, this is actually good. I like this." No? Am I misremembering? Right? Pretty sure that this exact kind of you know, style of work, he was acting like they didn't like and they do like it. Why would you not edit this out? Well, you've been proven wrong. Where are we? I don't need to go back. I think, listen, go back if you wish, but I'm pretty sure that's the case.
execution.
So much like a disappointed father, Robert Florczak says that Impressionism it's alright, I guess. I'll give it a pass because it still looks like the boring painting.
Wait, you didn't say it's alright, I guess. Like, it's clear the point that he's making is there are, like, demonstrable, there's demonstrable proficiency displayed here. Right? No, is that? I feel like the PragerU guy is like not completely out. I mean, I don't agree with his takes on modern art. I wouldn't imagine, but he's not completely out. Like, he's making coherent points that fit within his own mentality and view. Right? He's just saying I can see technical proficiency in this that I don't see replicated in modern art, which is fine. He can have that opinion and perspective. That's totally fine.
Things I like.
But with each new generation, standards declined until there were no standards.
Thank you for the purple shard. Yo, Jimbo! We love purple shards. Thank you very much for opening the purple shards. I feel like he's not really understanding his argument. When he says, like, artistic standards, I think, yeah, he's referring to this concept of like a technical proficiency and an ability to demonstrate that you could do something well, right? Which I think is fine. It's
Okay,
obviously
that's
modern
wonderful.
art.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Ethan's looks like a body that was found in the river after 3 days. Ethan's DoorDash receipts could be a modern art piece.
Okay.
Urbanized glutton.
Okay, thank you for $5. I just think, you know, oh my God. You guys are so generous. Thank you. J Meta with a $50 super sticker. Lemon character and baby lemon jumping in the air with fireworks behind them. Now that is art. Thank you so much for the $50. You know, I just think that, yeah, like if any old schmuck can come and stick a banana to a wall, you can argue about its merit and what it means, and you know, whatever you want to do, really, you can talk about that. But like, that is just inarguably, you know, technically less proficient than doing a watercolor piece where you demonstrate your ability to put brushstrokes to paper in an exceptional fashion, right? Like, this just seems so obvious to me. You can like the banana whilst also recognizing that the proficiency to bring that together is less than a classical painting. It just is.
All that was left was personal expression.
I don't really have anything to say other than this is just a fake graph that means nothing. Oh, God forbid art be
Yeah, obviously it's a dumb... Dude, this is like 2016. Yeah, it's a dumb video that means nothing. Yeah, PragerU graph bad. Yeah, I get it. I've heard it a million times before. But to me, it seems like the guy is just saying there's less technical proficiency you need to exhibit to be considered an artist now, which I think is just correct and true, right?
be reflective of an artist's personality and life experience, emotions. I would hate that. This sort of gives the game away for Robert. What he's telling us is that art...
And bear in mind as well, this guy's like claimed that PragerU does fascist propaganda, right? And I'm looking at the PragerU video, and I don't agree with the guy. I like modern art. I don't agree with the dude. But clearly he's just making the point there's less proficiency and you know, artistic standards and merit. And that's to feed some boomer audience narratives about modern art, sure. But it's not fascist or something like that. It's just kind of putting something out that appeals to their audience, which is probably not going to like modern art because they're older and they've got an older standard of what they look for and what they like, you know? Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. It is Ethan, but Ethan content does very well. And we had this conversation the other day. So, you know.
For him is basically another way to look at pretty pictures of people in mountains, which is great. Look at all the pretty people in mountains you want. But to imply that modern art is inferior because it doesn't meet the extremely restrictive guidelines that Robert specifically and arbitrarily has, I mean, that's...
No. I feel like he's saying he thinks it's inferior because it doesn't demonstrate the same technical proficiency as other older forms of art, which is a totally reasonable thing to think, particularly if you yourself are a classical artist that spent time developing your talent, and then this new wave of art comes along that totally undermines you. Jesus Christ, dude. Fuck me. God, I'm defending PragerU now. What's going to happen next?
Pretentious. So because this PragerU video is formatted like a middle school persuasive essay, this is the counter argument paragraph. In this segment, Robert says that art can be objectively measured by looking at it.
The great art historian Jacob Rosenberg wrote that quality in art is not merely a matter of personal opinion, but to a high degree objectively traceable.
But how do I make money?
But the idea of a universal standard of quality in art is now usually met with strong resistance, if not open ridicule. How can art be objectively measured? I'm challenged. In responding, I simply point to the artistic results produced by universal standards compared to what is produced by relativism.
His first example is Birth of Venus, which I don't know about that one. I don't get it. Waves don't even look like that. What is this supposed to be?
Oh my God, dude. This is so obnoxious. Look how much this sucks. Anyway, some dude is eating his own feces out of an empty packet of Spam. That's actually very good art. We should go and have a look at that instead.
That's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Did a magician make his skin disappear? That's
I don't
kind of
mind
artistic.
if you don't like this painting. I mean, I'm sat here and I'm not like, you know, this means anything to me. I'm not like getting anything from this on a personal level. I'm not sat here in absolute awe at this image, but I still understand and get that it's a very important historical piece that has stood the test of time. And, you know, I just so obnoxious to sit here and be, waves don't even look like that. Come on, dude. Yeah, so reductive, exactly.
The Birth of Venus is a masterwork, don't get me wrong, and it is a huge painting. But it is not the piece that Robert wants to bring out when we're talking about artistic objectivity. Compositionally, a little crowded, very flat. The anatomy is stiff and dull, just like the...
Oh my god, dude. This dude is seriously thinking he's got this capability to do this like analysis of this art and oh, this is stiff and that's what knowledge has he got to make these sort of claims about it, right? I mean, I don't know what the argument should be from the other side because I don't really, you know, care about this image that much. But yeah, exactly. I'd presume it's like a historical context. With a lot of this stuff is about the historical context, and you know, that is an important part of analyzing and looking at it, right? Yeah, exactly. It's the period it's from, and you know, yeah. Yeah. Dude, also, like, he is trying to apply some objective standard to it now. Dude, what? Dude, this is so... It's like he's doing the reverse of what they're doing from, like, a lefty modern art perspective, I don't know.
colors, which is a product of its time, but it is still the way it is. But I, unlike Robert, can find value and appreciate art that I think is really boring and sucks. Odilon Bredon painted his own version of The Birth of Venus in 1912, and while it's hard to compare because they're two completely different works, I mean, this is so much better. It's got style and flavor and emotion.
Huh? Is it? I don't know, bro. Bro, this shit sucks. He's got to be taking the piss, surely.
It's a great piece. But unfortunately, like
Is
Robert
that supposed to be a pussy or something? I don't know. Anyway.
says,
Without aesthetic standards, we have no way to determine quality or inferiority.
which is the same as saying, I'm a little baby, and I need people to tell me if art is good or not. Inferiority is an interesting choice of words as well, because that implies that the only purpose of aesthetic standards would be to gatekeep art. If it's not good enough for Robert, it's not good enough for the galleries.
Here's a test I give my graduate students, all talented and well-educated. Please analyze this Jackson Pollock painting and explain why it is good.
Explain why this Pollock painting is good? If I was an art student in grad school and Robert Florczak brought out this fucking shit-stained toilet paper or whatever this is and told me to tell him why it's good, dude, just ask for a college refund at that point. A college refund? They do that.
It is only after they give very eloquent answers that I inform them that the painting is actually a close-up of my studio apron.
Dude, the point he's making is very clear here. It's that you get these pretentious fart huffers that do Emperor's New Clothes tier shit and look at something and give these, you know, wordy answers as to why something is such an incredible piece of work. And then you pull it away and go, well, it's not. It's just my apron. And you've got a perception of it that's based in, you know, a kind of instinct to defend what your concept of modern art is. You know, some sort of meaningless thing that is not what you think it is, and you go to defend it because you want to defend modern art, you know? And again, this is all relevant to him being like a classic, I don't know, is classical artist the right term? But he's obviously like, you know, got some proficiency in doing some sort of art, and he doesn't like this new stuff, so he's going to make that point as like a sort of, you know, I don't know, it's like something a granddad would do or something, right?
How do I make money off depressed people?
When did all these leftist types come to the conclusion that their subjective opinions are objective facts, and all other opinions are irrelevant?
Thank you very much for the $5. Dude, I used to be a Banksy fan, but dude, more recently, over the last few years, God, dude, oh, I cringe thinking about it now. I used to have the book,
that's wonderful.
Banksy.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
If you told Ethan that the birth of Venus was painted by a gay black man, he'd say it was the greatest piece of art ever.
True. Thank you for the $5.
I don't blame them. I would probably have done the same, since it's nearly impossible to differentiate between the two.
No, yeah, it is possible to differentiate between the two. You just have to use your eyes. Robert Florczak wants to flatter himself in saying that he accidentally creates Pollock pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like a gay pseudo-intellectual analysis. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like there was a recent example of this where I can't remember what it was, but someone at an art gallery either did something to point out the absurdity of it, like they put something up that was retarded and people thought it was art, or there was another one where like a security guard wiped something off that was supposed to be a piece of art, and it was like, do you know what I'm talking about? I think those are two separate things that did happen. I can't remember, but
All the time. Oh no, just a little Pollock on my apron. But if you know even a little bit about Pollock, then you would know that this looks nothing like it. I'll talk more about Pollock later, though.
And who will determine?
okay. But then, I mean, this could be a made-up story from this guy anyway. Who fucking knows? But then, why did people defend it then? Why was it so easy to confuse the two?
Quality is another challenge I'm given. If we are to be intellectually honest, we all know of situations where professional expertise is acknowledged and depended upon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Robert Florczak wants to be the guy who determines quality. Or maybe his son, Philly Florczak.
Take figure skating in the Olympics, where artistic excellence is judged by experts in the field. Surely we would flinch at the contestant who indiscriminately threw himself across the ice and demanded that his routine be accepted as being as worthy of...
Oh, the Jesus painting. Oh my God, that is a classic, yeah. Where like they tried to sort it out or something and just drew this insane face. That wasn't a modern art thing. That was just a retarded art restoration fail, I think.
value as that of the most disciplined skater.
Figure skating is a complete non sequitur, and funny that he even tried. If we have to use examples that aren't real to prove points about real stuff, maybe we should reevaluate a little. If you're wondering, Robert Florczak does not bring up a single actual example of modern...
Wait, hang on. Is it a non sequitur? Isn't the point just that, you know, that there's some forms of like artistic expression where we've got some standard that we try to withstand and apply? So, you know, from his perspective as a classical artist, he thinks there should be a similar thing for art. I mean, you know, you can think about it in the other direction too. Imagine if we had this perspective for figure skating. Thank you very much for that. And we got rid of all the scoring elements, and it's just a more, you know, like we just look at it and think what we think about it. And then you get some, you know, trans person with no legs doing figure skating and they're fucking dog shit. And then they're like, bravo, black trans woman did this. Brilliant. There we go. 10 points or something. I don't know.
art for the rest of the video, just a bunch of poop related stuff that he made up. Robert does have a solution for you though, if you're really frustrated about the modern
Poop related stuff he made up. I don't know the video obviously, but there are some shit based modern art things that have happened. That is a thing, right? Like there's one, I remember one story about a guy that paints with cow dung or something, and this is obviously an anecdote, this is hearsay from your perspective, but I spoke to an artist once many years ago when I was selling stuff, and he came in and bought something. Thank you very much. Ethan's last tea cell. Wait, dude, what are you making up to? Thank you, Ethan's last T cell, for hitting level 12. But anyway, this guy told me that apparently, obviously, take it with a pinch of salt. This is a story he told me, but he's an artist. And I don't even think he was like an anti-modern art guy, if I recall correctly. He was just an artist guy. And he went to London to see a new art exhibit that had released. And it was like a very discreet moment. It was like, you know, oh, come through to the next moment. You know, you go through a door or whatever, and you go to like the discreet, secretive art exhibit. And apparently, it was a guy just shitting in a toilet, and that was the art exhibit apparently. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more stuff like that where excrement is used in some fashion. There was another thing as well I read about once. I actually thought this was good. I like this, but it's I guess along the same lines somewhat. But it was about the circle of life, and it was like you had this rotten meat, and then there were flies that were laying eggs in the rotten meat, and the rotten meat became maggots, which then went somewhere else and became flies, and then the flies then went back and laid the eggs in the rotten meat. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? You know, I thought that was quite clever. I like the idea of that. That's the kind of modern art that I'm thinking is cool. But anyway, you know, there is a lot of like weird shit that people do with this stuff, and some of it's cool, and some of it's based, and some of it's cringe and shitty and gay.
An art problem. His call to action paragraph at the end tells you to patronize the right kind of art galleries and buy the right kind of artwork at the galleries.
By the art we patronize at museums or purchase at galleries, we can make our opinions not only known but felt. An art gallery, after all, is a business like any other.
What won't sell won't get made. That is, like, not even how the world works. Robert ends the video with a quick jab at Robert Rauschenberg's 3-panel white painting.
Let's celebrate what we know is good and ignore what we know is not. By the way, the white background you see behind me is not simply a white graphic backdrop. It is a pure white painting by noted artist Robert Rauschenberg.
He doesn't really say anything about it other than, can you believe it's white? Yeah, no, I see it, Robert. This isn't a blank canvas, as many conservatives will lead you to believe. This is actually a canvas painted perfectly white. 3 of them, painted so meticulously that you can't even see the brushstrokes, which on its own is impressive. There are multiple versions of the Rauschenberg white paintings, but the 3-panel one is definitely my favorite. And they're all really big too, much bigger than what Robert suggests in his video. I feel like any artist who's ever painted before should be impressed by these. If you've ever seen them in person, they're pristine. And that's not even talking about like any like meaning or symbolism, that's just technically impressive. Not liking art like this is a choice, and it's a choice that people should be able to make with all of the context available. Robert is presenting these pieces and robbing the context.
Again, you know, yeah, sure, this PragerU video is a bit deceptive, certainly. But like, I can still understand the point this guy's trying to get across, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure it looks good or whatever, but like, I can understand why a classical artist is going to look at this and be like, what the fuck? Dude, I spent all my years learning how to paint a beautiful image of something to a very pristine standard. And now some dude comes along and shoves a bit of white on a bit of paper and all of a sudden I'm undermined. How are they deceptive? By removing the context of some of these pieces. Like the rock thing, for example. Like they just said it was just a rock that got put there, right? When obviously there is more context to know of it. God, please do not fucking nitpick at me for being critical of the PragerU video, you rightoid fucking retards, okay? When I'm saying EthanIsOnline is a giga retard, right? Oh, the PragerU video. How was it deceptive? You cannot possibly criticize the PragerU video. It was perfect. Fuck off. Thank you for hitting level 25.
Text from you while pretending to inform. 6 months ago, PragerU posted another certified Florkzak classic. Why is classical art so good? In it, he claims that art history has been muddled by the humanities and social sciences, and that social significance in political messaging in art was only ever added by academics, not artists.
Art is a matter of personal taste. There's no such thing as great art.
Shut up! Retards! Go and watch PragerU, you fucking freaks!
Maggots for semen to produce rotten fly babies.
Okay.
And smells good.
Thank you very much for the 363. Go and watch your fucking Prager slop, okay?
Or bad art. Where do these assumptions come from? For the most part, they are the result of art histories written and taught over the last century, not by artists, but by those in the humanities and social sciences. Not having an artist's point of view or experience, let alone artistic talent, these authors and teachers have therefore framed art in the only language they understand, meaning and social significance.
Artists don't think like that at
Wait, what? I think I agree with this even more, if I'm understanding it correctly. I think I even more agree with this, in that there's lots of modern day artists that do just have a social... Dude, I've seen this myself, bro. I've literally seen this myself, dude. I went to the Tate Modern, some of the stuff I liked, but there was one, you go into a room and there's a picture on the wall of a bunch of queers, and that's it. That's all it is. And then there's like a description about how gay they are. Okay? Obviously, a social view is being put ahead of any sort of artistic talent or merit in that situation. Oh, these guys are queer. This is art. Right? This is a thing. Or there's pieces of art which are analysed through the sexuality of the person that did it and the fact they died from fucking AIDS. Literally, there's that thing that we spoke about earlier.
These authors and teachers have therefore framed art in the only language they understand, meaning and social significance.
Yes, I think I agree with that. Am I understanding it
Okay,
correctly?
that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud is correct. There are more than one reacher in this vid.
Thank you for the $5. Thank you. They got mad because they finished the AIDS patient's shitty painting.
artists don't think like that at all. They only care about making it look real.
When a visual medium becomes more about what it means and less about its pure visual experience, it might succeed as, say, journalism or social commentary, but it has failed as art.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, I think that I don't necessarily agree. Like, I think, yeah, you're easy having a conversation if you just go, okay, art could be anything. I think it's retarded. I think it lessens like the concept of it. But if you want art to be anything, that's fine. Okay. But beyond that little nitpick, right? I think that, yeah, I think the point stands there that some pieces are more concerned with a social commentary than actually, you know, a visually satisfying experience or something like that, right? I think that's a pretty fair point from that guy. Let's see what he says.
God, glad to see that Robert is still just as dumb 8 years later.
In a great oil painting by the 17th century Dutch master Vermeer, the quality is there in the controlled balance of its composition, the harmony of its color, the masterful hand-eye coordination of its brushwork.
So many masterpieces were only ever made because they were commissioned. Like, that's how the great artists survived. That was their thing. It's not like the Sistine Chapel happened because Michelangelo was bored after all the pizza he was eating. Michelangelo. But regardless, the constant masterpiece comparisons never stop with fake art critiques like this. Robert claims that art is a visual medium and how it looks matters more than anything else.
The great artists of the past didn't care one whit about reflecting their
Oh, is this the same guy? Yeah, what was that point there? Oh, it was commissioned. They made money doing it. I mean, that's the same with a lot of modern artists too. Oh, yeah, do an art installation. Here's a million quid. Here's a fucking place at the Tate Modern. Here's a bunch of money. Do whatever you want. Go crazy. Shit on the walls for all we care, okay? Also, what... Okay, people keep saying this, and I don't know what to make of this. But what's this about money laundering?
times. They cared primarily about creating art that looked good. Art, by definition, is a visual medium. Therefore, its meaning and ability to make you think are secondary to how it looks.
That's really stupid. Because
I mean, the thing is like, with you have to accept that modern art is trying to do something different, and then sure, right? But like, obviously classical art does put the look of it over anything else. But I don't necessarily agree that art has to do, you know, something like that. And yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, like there's some mediums of art which aren't visual at all, like music. That's a form of art. So yeah, I don't think it applies to art generally, but if it's like a classical piece of art, then yeah, obviously you would expect the look of it to be forward of anything else. But for modern forms of art, that's not necessarily true, and that's fine. I don't have a problem with other aspects of it being at the forefront if it's interesting or thought provoking in a kind of unique or original way. I'm cool with that. It's the endless repetition of the same things we've seen time and time again that I find annoying. Anyway, some of you are probably not going to like that because you don't like modern art. That's fine. We don't need to dwell on that. But I think overall, again, what the guy's saying, I can see where he's coming from. And I definitely agree that there is a very cancerous thing that some people do where the message of the piece is over and above anything else. And it kind of, for me at least, ruins it. Like the queer thing I said about.
Because art is a visual medium, it can convey things that are indirect through a visual format, right? I feel like that makes more sense than whatever the fuck he just said. Like a visual metaphor almost, It's like saying words can't mean other things other than just what the word says. But also to make a broader point, art isn't a medium. Painting is, drawing is, charcoal is. Those are visual media, but art is not a medium. Art is much more broad than that. But this guy doesn't really care about that stuff because he's stupid. That's the summary of this video, basically. I mean, that's the synopsis of the video.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, I'm presuming that the context he's talking solely about paintings and shit, right? So it's kind of implied that that's what he's referring to. But anyway,
Robert doesn't know the difference between...
Anyway, I want to see the Charlie shit. I don't really care about the PragerU shit. What's the Charlie stuff?
Painting and art, so he keeps saying art when he means painting, and he's still wrong. Robert does clarify he's not talking about realism, he's just saying it has to look good.
Great art need not even look realistic to be great. It's no wonder that many people believe the myth that photography put an end to classical art, given that they assume that looking photographic was the purpose of a painting. But that was never the goal of the classical artist. Quality of execution was.
Whatever that means. Robbie has to like you.
You might be thoroughly impressed with the work of a cutting-edge artist with its impressive theory, but you have no way of knowing if you're being taken for a sucker.
You have no way of...
Dude. Wait. That is actually a fair point, yeah. And this has been... God, what is... I'm trying to think of the thing where an artist did this. And they specifically did some shitty thing to, like, and it got, they had no intention of it being art or making a commentary or point. They just stuck something up and people thought it was a piece of art and they essentially were getting taken for a sucker. Right? No, not Andy Warhol. It was more recent than that. No, it wasn't. I'm not talking about I'm talking about something much more recent. Anyway. But that made it art. Okay, fuck off. I'm not doing the semantical argument about art. We've already addressed that. We're not getting into that, okay? I'm just agreeing. We're so far past that, okay? We're just talking about the idea that someone could do something that is obviously bullshit to fool you, to take you for a sucker. You see this meaning in it. Like, I agree. I see where the guy's coming from. That's what I'm trying to say.
Knowing you're being taken for a sucker? I usually don't go to museums trying to figure out if I'm about to be tricked or not. But maybe that's more of Robert's personal insecurity.
Unlike the inspirational work of the past, much of today's art exposes how coarse and vulgar a society we've become.
Much unlike 1400s Europe, a very clean and civilized time. Robert Florczak is an interesting case. His ignorant takes on art are almost palpable in his own work. While technically impressive most of the time, some of them are just...
But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud, you should know that accidental art is the best art. Just ask Ethan's dad when used his penis as a paintbrush inside his mother's beaten canvas.
Thank you very much for the super chat. I can see why this dude is so upset about modern art because he's got, like, I mean, clearly this is a very proficiently produced piece, okay? Clearly a lot of, like, technical talent has gone into making this. But it is a bit boring, right? I find it personally a bit boring. Like, I'd much rather look at a piece that is, conceptual and interesting than this, right? You might disagree with that, and that's fine. but that is why he's so annoyed, because he spent all this time learning how to do this proficient art, and then people have come along and gone, I'm going to stick a banana to a wall, and people are going to find it more interesting than what he's doing. I get it. I get it. This is why he's so upset. I get it. I understand where this... I feel sorry for this guy, in all honesty, okay? No one told him. No one told him. Well, no, it's not about it being political. It's about, okay, it's like a nicely put together image, but it just doesn't really do anything for me looking at it, you know? It feels like it's kind of 10 a penny, you know? It doesn't have to be political necessarily. Yeah, there's not a substance there. Like, what am I getting from looking at this? It looks good, yeah, of course, because he's a very proficient artist. Like, surely,
Okay,
unless you're
but how do I
hopelessly
make
side-cut,
money
you can
off
understand the
depressed
point I'm
people?
making why this
He
guy would be
reminds
pissed off,
me a
right?
lot of my early work. Wonder if his next act will be like mine.
Thank you for the 333. What would you rather have on the wall, a Pollock or this thing? Well, Pollock, because to me it's more interesting and it's a bit different, you know. People would think I don't know. They probably think I'm racist if I had this on the wall. They'd be like, oh, is this some sort of like Viking racist thing or something? I don't know. But no, I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't. It's not of interest to me personally. But that's the beauty of it, right? Maybe you really like this. Maybe you're looking at this and you see a lot of value in this. Okay. And that's cool. Good luck to you. But I'm just saying, I personally don't like it. And I understand why this guy's going to be upset about modern art. Anyway.
Fucking insane, Robert. What's going on?
Okay, that looks better. I like that. Okay. I'm a fan of that. That looks cool. I like this waterfall thing. That's pretty cool. I don't think I like the cumin part. I'm not really a fan of this bit. I think it should work a lot better without this fucking woman here.
Going on here? But his work is clearly restricted, uninspired. It's the same subjects over and over again. White people hanging out outside. All right, man. He even made the Egyptians white. Interesting. Robert
Oh my god, dude. So he's trying to put in this racism thing now.
has clearly hanging out outside. All right, man. He even made the Egyptians.
Are they white? They don't look white to me. Oh, hey, Shu, this is Ethan is online. Race swapped. Oh, so now race swapping is bad all of a sudden,
Okay, that's
eh?
wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
The art movement where you stick up something on the wall and its meaning is to stick it to the man is called Dada. Guy who taped a banana to the wall also signed the journal and put it in a museum.
Thank you for the $9.99. Appreciate it. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, look, if you like this, I'm not saying you're a bad person for liking it or a retard for liking it. I get it, right? It's different tastes, isn't it? You know. But yeah, I kind of get this guy's issues based on his own experience and life, probably.
Egyptians white. Interesting. Robert has clearly focused all of his artistic energy into making as realistic of renderings as possible, which can be artistic. But you don't need to be painting photorealism to be an artist. And if you do focus on it, you should probably study some other stuff too. Oh,
Okay, but I feel like this. I'm an empath. I personally am just an empath, okay? And I feel like this guy is like, you know, obnoxiously missing the aspect of this guy's experience, which is very clear why he thinks this way about it. Do you see what I mean? It's like, have a little bit of fucking empathy for this guy, because he has spent his fucking life becoming a very technically proficient painter, all for it to get pulled out from under him with some fucking retard sticking a banana to a wall. Like, of course you're going to be annoyed. Of course. You know, it's like the taxi thing again. You spend all your time learning the routes of London and understanding the knowledge and how to drive around London effectively, and some fucking Syrian comes along with a sat-nav and undercuts you and you're done, you know? Hey! Guck the Goon. Thank you for reaching level 12. Appreciate it.
Oh, by the way, weird fact about Robert, he also composed the music for Roar, the Tippi Hedren movie where they just led a bunch of lions around and filmed it. That's just a fun fact about Robert Florczak. That's a Florczak fact for you. This guy knows art.
Roar!
All right, no more Robert. Charlie time. For those of you who don't know who this is, he is just a YouTuber. He's like Markiplier if Markiplier played Fortnite instead of Five Nights. I do want to be as charitable as possible. These videos are from streams, so it's not like these are written and produced like Robert Florxax's are. It's just some dude in his little house that he lives in. In the first video, Art Makes No Sense, Charlie is watching a video by Solar Sands about Thomas Kincaid. But during the entire lead up to the intro, he won't stop assuming it's either Jackson Pollock or Damien Hirst.
These paintings make my corneas hurt. I'm ashamed that this
Damien
artist
Hirst.
lived in my former hometown. The George
This is
W.
Damien Hirst.
Bush of art. Gee, these paintings must be pretty bad then,
It's Damien Hirst,
what are
isn't
they,
it?
Pictures
So? What is it? What point is this? He was on a stream. Like, it's a fun game sometimes to try and predict something, and then you turn out to be right, and you're like, yeah, or you're wrong, and, you know. What's wrong with this? This is like nothing. Like a nothing point.
of babies eating each other alive.
Charlie's already mad about modern art, and this video isn't even about modern art. It's about tacky, wacky...
Oh, God, he did the burp thing. Is he mad? Is he mad at modern art? Or is he just having a fun game trying to guess who the artist is they're going to be talking about? Huh? Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. The worst thing about this is the burp. Okay. Well, I guess we'll continue. Hopefully the criticisms improve from here on out.
Jigsaw puzzle art made by an evangelical alcoholic con man.
These
Okay,
are the
that's
kinds of
wonderful.
paintings
But
those
how do I
quotes
make
are
money
referring
off
to.
depressed people?
FYI, many photorealistic paintings and art were produced via camera lucida devices. It's an ancient technique of projecting 2D image and tracing before photographs.
Thank you for the $10, Topher. Appreciate it.
Artists
By
suck.
the late artist Thomas Kincaid.
God damn it.
He's so mad about paintings that aren't even in the video, he's getting distracted.
I hate Thomas Kincaid with every fiber of my being. Our long
Channel that
national
energy to
nightmare
someone
is
that
over.
deserves it,
There's
like
nothing
Damien
wrong
Hirst.
with-
I don't know why more people don't hate people like Damien Hirst and Jackson Pollock. Their work is the most awful dog shit ever.
And when someone points out in the chat that all art is subjective, he says,
I really don't think this guy's like mad at art. I just think he doesn't like this stuff on a personal level. Oh, Damien Hirst. He's done like a bunch of like conceptual stuff, right? Is that it? I don't fucking... Dude, all these modern artists are 10 a penny and annoying. Who was that whore that did the bedroom? They showed it earlier. But yeah, I mean, the funny thing, he's trying to compare these two. The first guy was, you know, I don't know, like he's just this. Moist Critical's just giving his perspective. He doesn't like certain art and doesn't find it particularly good, and thinks it's shit. What?
is this?
It is estimated his business brought in $100 million in revenue annually.
Art is
Thomas
always
Kincaid
subjective.
was
Yeah,
wildly
until it comes to
successful.
Damien Hirst or
As
Jackson
easy as
Pollock, then
would
it is
be to
objectively
dismiss
dog
all
shit.
this hatred-
Which, I'm not the biggest Hirsch head in the world.
Okay, I mean, if like EFAP made that point, yeah, they do their objective analysis tism, okay. But I mean, him saying that to me comes across more like a fucking like a meme or something, you know. Like, yeah, he's fucking around with his stream, isn't he? You know, I don't. That's like a funny meme. I don't think it's supposed to be. I genuinely think this is objectively whatever. Do the Charlie? Hey guys, Moist Critical here. So we're looking at some art today. Some people say this is good art. Other people are saying it's bad art. Anyway, poop, fart bomb, shithole, piss Christ, shit up the wall, fucking eating the feces from a tin of spam. That's about it. See ya. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's kind of like, I mean, the idea that in his claim here is that Moist Critical is doing the same thing as PragerU. PragerU making an edited piece of content that, you know, at absolute worst is just serving out goy slop to the retarded boomers about how bad modern art is, a base classical art is, where I see it more so as, you know, the guy's just given his perspective as a classical artist that probably feels a bit hard done by this new wave of art that kind of undermines his style. Versus Moist Critical watching a video and having a laugh with his stream about how some art sucks. Like, I don't know, dude. It's just so crazy that these are being compared.
But
he called Charlie a useful idiot for the likes of PragerU. I mean, what an insane claim when this is what we got so far.
Pollock? Really? The three artists that were bouncing around in the beginning of this video could not have less in common. Charlie says that most modern artists can't paint like a face or anything like that.
I guarantee you Damien Hirst, Jackson Pollock, all of like your most famous artists, like more modern artists, I guess Jackson Pollock doesn't fit into that. I guarantee they couldn't draw a single person's face. They couldn't paint a single thing that looks like anything.
This is a challenging critique. He then immediately defends Bob Ross.
A challenging critique. He's just saying these artists suck and they probably couldn't do basic shit. It's like saying a chef couldn't cook an omelette, you know? Dude, what? He's taking this... Am I crazy here? I feel like he's taken these comments from Moist Critical way too literally. None of this is supposed to be a... You know... Yeah, exactly. Charlie is intentionally excessively hating because it's funny. Yeah, that's my interpretation of this too. But he's acting like these are all serious critiques on art and shit like that, you know? Like, clearly he's just having a fucking laugh with his audience. Oh, I bet this artist couldn't even draw a face, could they? I mean, that's obviously like an absurd, you know, hyperbolic statement. They probably could draw a face. But the idea is they're so bad at art they couldn't even do a basic task. Oh my God, dude.
Who rarely ever painted faces because those
Charlie is doing the Creeman Mutahar bit. I don't think it's a bit with Creeman, but yeah, sure.
are hard to paint.
Yeah, I remember Bob Ross was shit upon by most, like, fart-sniffing artists back in the day. Anything that looks like it has any form or shape to it, or anything that looks like it took time and effort, is very frowned upon in the community.
I don't think the level of realistic face you can paint determines your value as an artist. Robert Florczak paints faces all the time. They suck. That doesn't make his work any less bland. Charlie gets really frustrated at the definition of the word kitsch because he thinks it's pretentious.
Kitsch is, unlike art, a utilitarian object lacking all critical distance between object and observer.
God, these people are so fucking pretentious, it hurts.
He doesn't...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that does sound pretty fucking pretentious. I agree with Charlie. Dude. And he's laughing too. He's right, yes. He's just having a laugh with it. The whole thing is extremely there's a lot of pretension. Yeah, of course there is.
Doesn't really elaborate, but I'm going to assume that he's saying that it's pretentious to seek meaning in art that looks passable enough.
Man's look.
Oh my God, dude. I'm going to assume an interpretation that backs up my points and argument. No, he's just saying these people are fart huffers. They take it all very seriously, and they come up with all this terminology to give, you know, excessive value and meaning to what they're doing. I'm pretty sure is what he's trying to say, and he's right.
Looking for a fucking intricate view of the world that challenges thought process with a fucking jigsaw puzzle.
Because they are more
like, it doesn't need to mean anything, so why are you mad that it doesn't? Especially when modern art is just baby doo-doo doodles and crayon. Thomas Kinkade, Robert Florczak, it doesn't matter. Uninspired art is uninspired art. What does Thomas Kinkade paint? Cottages? God? In the form of, like, light behind a cottage? Just like with Robert's little apron trick earlier, Pollock's work is often extremely misrepresented. He painted what hell looks like. This is like the real hell.
It's just abstract dog shit that even a child could make.
And yeah, if a child had the same mental illness and chronic addiction and somehow got a hold of one of the giant canvases he would nail on the ground, spent hours...
I mean, to be honest with you, if these fucking freaks got control, that's exactly what every child would have, to be honest with you. Okay? Dude, God. I personally, on a personal level, do find it interesting if there's some, you know, story. I like that sometimes, as long as it's not fucking gay. But, like, I totally get that other people are, like, dismissive of that. The idea that you need to do some research to understand why a piece of art is, oh, the guy was actually chronically addicted when he did this. You know, I might find that interesting for some pieces, but some people are not bothered. They just want to see the fucking meat and the bones right there. The meat and potatoes right there. Dude, this guy's... This is the exact kind of modern art pretentious freak defense that I knew it would be, and I think is very gay, and I totally understand why people fucking despise, you know, modern art and discussions around it when these are the people that are the forefront of the other side, you know? Fuck me, dude. Yeah, exactly. You know, I recognise that I can be like a bit of a hipster with this stuff sometimes. And that's fine. And people can have a laugh at that about it, and it's cool, right? But I also understand that, like, some people don't want don't want the abstract stuff. They just want it fucking there. Oh, that's a nice looking painting. Look at that. I bet that took a lot of time and effort to go. Well, that's cool. And you don't need to know anything about the artist to understand it, you know? Oh my God, dude. These people ruin it. These people ruin the arguments for modern art, or the defense of modern art that happens.
Upon hours splattering paint to cover the entire thing. Maybe
ChudLogic equals Nathan Barley. I was actually watching a bit of Nathan Barley. Rise of the Idiots. Banging. I should watch it on stream sometime. But yeah, anyway, God, this is so insufferable. But hey, it's a bit of ETH tent. We're having a great time with it, aren't we? We're having a great bloody laugh.
Charlie's point about kids being able to do the same thing as Pollock would make a little more sense. Love him or hate him, he was really painting on the floor. You don't have to like Pollock's work. You can hate Lucifer, my favorite one. You can hate it, but if your reasons for hating it are, it doesn't really look like anything. Yeah, no, I know. That's like the point. That's not really about that. Really. Look how much paint is layered on this fucking thing. It's beautiful. What my mind looks like in my head. I had to take a hot dog break. Anyway, back to Charlie. He has this idea on stream to create a fake alias and sell really shitty art on purpose.
It's interesting if you already have a visceral reaction to the art, but if you have to do your research beforehand, so you have the correct take, then it's gay. No, Chud, you're agreeing with the Gooner. Wait, what?
I thought it would be a really interesting idea if I did like some dog shitty Damien Hirst, Jackson Pollock style art under a pseudonym, and then just had like a really wealthy person I know buy it for an absurd amount, and I just give the money back, obviously, but making headlines.
Which a lot of people have already done. PragerU actually did a really, really lazy version, and we're gonna watch that now. Don't blame me, blame Charlie. I didn't want to watch any more of these. Why modern art is so bad with Will Witt. Oh, Will Witt moment. Classic Will Witt, the intern from PragerU that looks like he's got nothing going on in his head. He, Dennis, a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old made a bunch of paintings, and he tried to get people to look at them on.
Hey! Thank you. We're at level 12.
The street. Will is trying to trick people in public. But the first thing you will notice about all of these paintings is that they all look like ass. Oh, I could make that. Oh yeah, can you? This is what you made. Every time someone says modern art is...
Okay, but like, you recognize that because you know what's going on. The people that don't know what's going on, what do they think about it? Like, I could easily imagine showing something like that to someone, and then before that, you know, you go, well, this was actually painted by a trans lesbian who tragically was taken by Giga AIDS before they were able to finish it. And then the woke person went, oh, no, I can really see the, you know what I mean? Like that fucking guy we spoke about earlier is exactly that.
Is like lazy and anyone can do it. I think back to these paintings. The video very quickly derails and it becomes less about trying to compare their art to modern art and instead about trying to make people look stupid for commenting on it.
What do you see in this one here?
A dagger at your back, apparently. It looks like a long sword dripping down the side.
So this...
I mean, yeah, like, I mean, look, this is obviously dumb, retard, rightoid shit, okay? Obvious, it's PragerU for fuck's sake, okay? But, of course, the point they're making is that, okay, well, if everything is art, then nothing is really art, and look, here's a bunch of shit, and here's some people giving lofty, pseudo-intellectual analysis of it, don't they look stupid? Like, yeah, it serves its purpose, right?
This kind of represents, like, Japanese masculinity, kind of like how these shapes are kind of like, this is a Japanese influence and then it's all kind of all over the place.
Will Witt, more like fucking wet noodle, couldn't even come up with what the paintings are supposed to fake mean. He had all the time he needed to figure it out and he couldn't figure it out. He just didn't come up with anything. Will tries to convince these poor hostages that there should be some kind of like artistic standard and none of them are really buying it.
Do you think there are standards to art?
No, I think that it's just expressing yourself and everybody's expression is valid. I think everybody has their own personal standards, right?
But do you think there's like a higher standard of like what art should be or what things should look like, you know, in more a sense?
No, not at all.
And then he does the big reveal. Oh, guess what? Kids made these.
If I told you that these were done by children, what would you think?
I'd believe you.
Believe it?
Yes.
They were.
Even though everyone already kind of knew. If I made this video and it was so objectively embarrassing.
Wait, what did they? Okay. The thing is, I could watch that, dude. The Vox Pop like make someone look retarded on the street. You know, someone passing by, desperately moving between their busy day, and you stop them and make them look a bit stupid. I'd find that shit dumb and gay. Okay, I'm not really into that, but fuck me, dude. This guy like reacting to it, responding to it, just makes me want to like it. To be honest. But yeah, I mean that it's supposed to be like a comedic piece. It's not. I don't think. Obviously, it serves some role in terms of PragerU's, you know, goal to influence stuff, but it's not that deep, man. It's just they're just fucking around a bit, you know. I don't know, dude. It's just like, oh look, these people thought this was modern art, but it was actually drawn by a 3-year-old. I just don't think it's that deep. And are we really doing the PragerU debunking in 2024? Except for fucking conservatard boomer neocons that are on their deathbed. Who even takes PragerU seriously anymore, dude? Fuck me. I mean, for one thing, the Jewish, right? The modern iteration of the righties are not really into that, it looks like, okay? There's a lot of anti-Jewish sentiments coming from the right now. So they're probably not going to like it for that reason. Anyway.
Embarrassing that I already had to edit it down to like 3 minutes. And it was still this cringe. I would just not post it, Will. I just wouldn't post it. The comments on this video are really funny because they're so clearly biased against modern art that they're clinging on to anything they can to make their point. Does it make you feel any kind of way? Confused? Give that kid a medal. I'm a classically trained realist artist. If you guys only knew how hard it was to learn the skill of the masters because of these people. Oh. It may or may not surprise you to know that the realist classical...
Oh my god, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Classical artists getting the nose put out of joint because some retard can come and stick a banana to the wall. This is what I was talking about, dude. This kind of resentment, I get it.
Ateliers and academies are not eligible for accreditation, and therefore promising students cannot receive loans or grants. Yet at a modern art school, you get a free ride for edgy period blood paintings you did your senior year of high school. Again, we never talk about like real examples. It's just like gross shit that they make up. That never happened. As an artist...
Dude, this is such cope. They make it up. That's not... So anything... And the thing is, if it existed and you presented it to him, he would give some defense of it as modern art, whatever. But when it's like he doesn't know of it, he acts like it's absurd and it's made up. When if it existed and it was presented, he'd probably defend it. Like, I'm certain that people have done period blood art. Yes, of course. I don't even need to look it up to know that's happened. Oh my God, Broodex, yes. Oh my God. It's not happening. But if it is, it's a good thing. Oh my God, he's doing it. He's doing the thing. Bro, he's doing the thing. It's not happening, but if it is, it's a good thing. He's literally doing the thing. Fucking hell, dude. Come on.
I think modern art sucks. I have standards. Cutting to a little later on in Charlie's video, he's insulted by an art critic's assessment of Kincaid's work.
We think it's stupid art for stupid people.
How can you, like, how do you read this and not just get...
Oh! Yes. Yes. Pair of glasses left on US gallery floor mistaken for art. Teenager leaves spectacles on floor as a prank, leading some to think they're an exhibit. Yes, this is the kind of thing I was talking about. Yes. Yeah. Dude. Oh my God, this is exactly the thing I'm talking about. Oh, that then makes it art. God, that's so insufferable. Anyway, come on.
Get insulted. Like, reading pretentious garbage like this is so upsetting to me.
The quote they used was "stupid art for stupid people," which is definitely harsh, but I think Kincaid definitely deserves it. He made simplistic, digestible, accessible hotel art because he knew that hotels and grandmas had to put something on their wall. He churned out hundreds and hundreds of paintings and recreations just to make money. But isn't that what people hate about modern artists? They just churn out whatever. They just throw it on the canvas and they sell it for all that money. What do you think this asshole was doing? They hate that Picasso can churn out 100 canvases a day. Abstract
Wait,
art
what?
is this asshole was doing. They hate that Picasso can churn.
Has anyone at any point said they don't like Picasso? What? He's talking about made up shit. Who at any point has said they don't like Picasso? I don't think anyone at any point has said that at all. At any point of any of these people. I mean, okay, you might not like him, but I'm talking about the people he's talking about. Well, people in chat, apparently. But in any case, you know, I don't really think that the subjects of this video are saying that Picasso, I don't think he's even been brought up at any point. Picasso would have watched ChudLogic, I agree.
Churn out 100 canvases a day. Abstract art is so much more challenging to conceptualize and actually execute. Unlike a tree that Thomas Kincaid painted that he meant to be printed 10,000 times. Despite this though, Charlie is still mad that people pay millions of dollars for Jackson Pollock paintings.
And then of course this, we think it's stupid art for stupid people, yet people paying millions for Jackson Pollock's absolute trash.
The like 4 people that have ever been able to do that. None of which were really worth anything until after he was dead. Unlike Kincaid, Pollock made Lucifer for a friend and gave it to him as a gift. And now it's on display at Stanford University.
Wait, what? How is this like debunking what Charlie's saying there? I mean, it's correct then that people have done this and paid a bunch of money for these paintings. Just because only a few doesn't really dispute what he's saying there. And again, he's speaking in a kind of broad, hyperbolic way for the purpose of entertaining his stream. Dude, this is insufferable. Fuck me, dude. Oh, dude. Oh my God, man. Oh. Anyway. Come on, let's get through this and then we're going to talk about jailing, actually. We're going to do a bit of commentary, Spurg shit, I think. It's going to be fun.
University. Kincaid's work, on the other hand, is meant to be purchased. A lot of times, actually. Which alone drains his work of a lot of soul and external meaning. Not that Santa's Night Before...
Yeah, I feel like there is this aspect of the some modern art enjoyers. I'm not including myself in this group, by the way, who feel exceptionally clever at being able to understand that the smeared feces on the wall has actually got a deeper meaning because it was an amputated black limb that did it or some shit. So they sat there. I'm very clever for getting this, and they probably watch this and feel very, superior,
Before Christmas is all that engaging of a painting anyway. Charlie stops watching this video to start looking up modern art examples at SF MoMA.
I am curious, what gets seen in high-class museums now? I'm pretty sure all of it is that super trash thing like a banana taped to a wall or like Banksy's balloon picture, stuff like that. Let me see. Well, I mean, even on just their homepage, like their art collection here is kind of ass.
I think it's good to show kids stuff like this. I mean, yeah, looking at like a picture.
I think it's good to show kids stuff like this. Okay, but that's not really what Charlie is saying. He's just saying, it looks like ass. What's that got to do with whether or not you should show a kid this?
Okay,
Banksy is
that's
great.
wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Thank you for the super chat. $2. I can't remember the criticism I saw of Banksy, but it really hit home with me as someone who is a former Banksy enjoyer. And it was just like, yeah, this is really hitting the nail on the head of why, of the issues with Banksy. But I can't remember what it is. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. But I used to have his book many years ago. I remember buying his book from a bookstore. Very pleased with myself I was. 15-year-old me or something like that. Getting a book of artwork, calling out Blair and the Iraq War. Oh, I felt so clever and smart. I did, I tell you that much. But yeah. Anyway, you probably hate Banksy because he's a leftist. No, I don't hate Banksy as a leftist. I've just kind of spoken to the issue. It's very obvious, like, Blair era anti-Iraq war shit that was zhuzhed up and presented as this fantastic subversive piece or something. It's very cringe looking back on it.
Of 70% of this 3-panel painting, maybe not my favorite. But also, SF MoMA is full of tacky lame shit anyway. It is a 7-story museum. It has everything for everyone. That's kind of their thing. If you get a chance to go, you really should. It's a great experience, and it helped change my mind a lot about modern art. I think
I'd probably enjoy going there, honestly. But again, I feel like, again, it's a level of seriousness that he's taking that just isn't there. Do you hate Banksy because of that? Not because of the fans. No, it's not to do with that. It's just, it's like, it's very obvious looking back on it now. At the time, it seemed very subversive and, very cutting edge. You're like an artsy guy who realized the culture around artsy stuff is so much bullshit, but still enjoy artsy stuff. Yeah, that's probably a good description, yeah. I've always enjoyed very like subversive, alternate things as I was growing up, particularly comedy. I'm a big Chris Morris fan, for example, But I think as I've grown up, it's become very obvious of all the pretension around it, and I hate that. I find it very obnoxious, and it makes it so clear to me why people don't like it when that's the kinds of people that are out defending it. Like trans chasing, okay.
you would even change someone like Charlie's mind if he actually gave it a fair shot. But anyway, he moves on to some random website called contemporaryart.com. But instead of actually engaging with it or talking about what he does or doesn't like about it, he just dances around it and uses it as an example to say that all modern art is bad.
You gotta really stop and digest this one, actually. There's a lot going on here.
It's just a little reductive, I think.
Oh no! Streamer Man was having a laugh with his audience about stuff that looks a bit shit. So reductive. I think he's looking way too deeply into this. I don't think it's that crazy a sort of thing he's doing at all. Right? I mean, am I missing something here? Was this supposed to be some thesis on modern art broadly? Or is it just him having a laugh about gay shit? I don't know.
Yeah, this pretty much sums up most art exhibits, I imagine.
What does that mean? It's not. And listen, I don't even hate these paintings. Again, if I saw what they actually look like, it'd be a lot easier to have an opinion on it. And I think that's why Charlie doesn't even have an opinion on it. He's just using them to criticize all of modern art. He mentioned selling the paintings for 50 grand.
Here's some canvases that there's like some scribbles on it somewhere in there. I don't know, just hang it up, put like 50 grand on it. Someone's gonna buy it.
And we'll talk more about how modern art critics are constantly complaining about how much art costs when it's literally just a money laundering tool by the 1%. And it has nothing to do with the actual art itself. But where did 50 grand come from? You just made that up. There is no record that this piece has ever been sold or
Oh my god, dude! He's doing the I'm gonna debunk the joke! Oh, you made a little throwaway joke there. Well, actually, according to Reddit, there's no record of this painting actually being sold for $50,000. So I think you're wrong there, actually. That's not correct fact. Bro, give me a break. He's joking around. What do you mean, dude? That's amazing. A hypothetical, hyperbolic joke, and he's Reddited it. I think that was a hecking lie. Dude, he's obviously alluding to the idea that people will do technically non-proficient art and sell it for a bunch of money, which apparently you yourself is saying is a thing because we will do it for money laundering purposes.
Any offers on it? For all I know, every piece Charlie looked at didn't make any money. I mean, the next exhibit is just a bunch of boxes in a synagogue. Like, that is explicitly something to experience, not something to own. And I think that's an even better version of art. The only thing though is Charlie never actually looked at what it was. He just saw a picture of boxes and didn't investigate any further. He's just looking at a picture of it.
Oh my god, dude. This is what I was talking about earlier. Okay? You really got to investigate. Some people don't want to fucking investigate to enjoy something, bro. Oh my god. Also, I think that this is going to be a long-term problem with some of these modern art pieces. I say this as someone who would probably enjoy the experience of going there, okay? But I do not think some of these pieces are going to stand the test of time, because if you need to be somewhere to experience something, how are you going to like replicate that long term like you can with a picture of the Mona Lisa or a picture of Michelangelo's David or whatever? You just can't do it. So if the only thing that's going to last long term is images and videos of it that don't give you the same feeling or evoke the same emotion of being there, then it's probably going to fritter and fall by the wayside, you know, unless it's such a powerful message that contextually in the time it does something that something else, even if it does it again, doesn't replicate the original, like Duchamp's The Fountain, say, or something like that, you know? That will always be an immortal piece for making the point that it did at the time that it did. But sticking a banana on a wall, I mean, that's going to be a footnote for a joke about modern art. I don't think that's going to stand the test of time, you know? I've seen that art piece in a warehouse I work in. Oh.
I don't think he knows what the whole thing is. And so he starts joking about what the piece could possibly be about, what crazy meaning that is going to be attributed to it.
Exquisite. Like, you have to ask yourself, what's in those boxes? Are we purchasing too much? It's a display of excess. And you see how the boxes aren't all lined up the same? There's a pattern to it. There's order in the chaos. And then you also have to wonder who packed these boxes. Is it Amazon workers that are miserable and you can feel the hate? Is it someone like maybe a home business with a family that packed the... There's just so many things you have to ask yourself. This really is a challenging piece.
And then he doesn't look up what it actually...
Oh my god, dude. He is making a comedic commentary about the way in which people hyper-analyze and autistically analyze art pieces. Like, and he's, you know, he's got a point of like, what he's making there. You didn't actually look it up, bro. Oh my god. Oh man. Uh-oh.
means. And he also doesn't understand even what he's looking at, so none of the jokes really land. Because Charlie isn't talking about what's in front of him. He's talking about what he thinks is in front of him. Charlie,
the jokes don't really land. I mean, you know, it's hardly... like, it's memes and fucking around for his stream on a given day. Like, it's not supposed to be this elaborate comedic fucking routine. It's just having a bit of a laugh. I feel like this is when I make some dumb throwaway joke about something. Just imagining someone looking at it later and being like, oh, well, the joke doesn't really land about the race statistics here because he's not actually correct. Like, bro, it's just a fucking, you know, no wonder this... Dude, doesn't this explain perfectly why his streams suck dick? It's because he doesn't get it.
That's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
No one liked my modern art inside of S synagogue. It was just some boxes, gold coins and a pile of teeth, and the ADL tried to cancel me. WTF?
Okay, thank you for the 333. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's why he doesn't get it. He doesn't get the art, if you like, of, you know, being kind of casually entertaining in a sort of way that you can repeat every day or every stream. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get this throwaway aspect of the entertainment that you can engage in doing this. I mean, I don't know. I don't watch his streams. The only time I've watched it is when he's doing that stupid countdown stream. But yeah, I'd imagine that his streams suck because he doesn't get what Charlie is doing here, right?
You're making a fool out of yourself. There's so many more boxes than that. I think
it's like the equivalent of like sitting around your pub with the mates and having a laugh or something, you know? You're sitting around having a laugh, and this is the kind of thing you could imagine being discussed amongst you know, talking about modern art and shit and having a laugh about it and, oh, look at this is fucking stupid and stuff like that, you know? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ethan doesn't know what being a normal guy casually laughing at dumb shit is. Yes, exactly.
There are so many different ways to interpret this installation, and I think writing it off is a little aggressive. What, are you scared? Too many boxes? I mean, the fact that the boxes are filling a synagogue is significant. Charlie didn't even know that, even though he was written that. But Charlie was still so mad at the picture, he didn't even, like, seek out.
Mad at the picture? He's not mad. Why? This attributing of negative emotions, of anger, is so insufferable. He's not angry or mad. He's just having a laugh. What do you mean? Oh my god, dude. I've defended Moist Critical a lot here. Jesus. I wish he was more on the money, so, you know, I could agree with him. Because Moist Critical can be, you know, a bit annoying sometimes without down the line in the middle of the road he is. But here he's just having a laugh about dumb shit. I think it's kind of fine, you know?
What it was. That's not even critique. That's just refusing to engage with art. Charlie is getting mad at this art because he doesn't understand it. And that's not even a neg on Charlie.
God,
he admits that he doesn't understand it. He doesn't get it and he's not trying to. So no wonder you're frustrated. You have to try a little bit. In the comments of all these videos, you see the same like NPC talking points, stuff like if you have to explain why art is good, plenty of classical art still needs an explanation to make sense. It's called context. You can appreciate the aesthetics of art without context, but you're not going to understand the piece without it. Starry Night takes on an entirely different meaning when you realize that it was painted from an asylum. And that was the view that Van Gogh had through his window. Learning about art can be really fun when you care, and it can deepen.
Okay, but then it's still in and of itself looks cool or whatever, right? This idea that you've got to do this project to understand this art piece. Dude, fucking hell, man. God, dude.
In your appreciation for art in general. Art is a scam is the next video we're watching. It starts out and Charlie's watching this video with like 400 views from an art gallery in Portland. And the first thing it shows are these acrylic half circles glued to the wall.
Oh my god, Portland. Is the disabled black person that shit themselves huffing fentanyl, are they part of the exhibit or not, I wonder? Anyway.
Charlie is just a little too excited about hating on this one and misses the point of it completely. Which is a bummer because this installation is actually really cool.
It's beautiful. I'm starting to tear. Oh. Wow. This is incredible. I need to pay a visit to this.
Each disc is color-coded, and that color matches a frequency that the app the artist developed translates into a sound. This isn't a visual exhibit, it's an audio exhibit. So yeah, when you're bullshitting and not paying attention, it does look like you're pointing your phone at a stupid orb, but I don't know. That's like the only time I've ever seen something like that.
You guys, okay, you should really watch Nathan Barley for stuff that really sends all this shit up. It's so good. I should watch it on stream sometime. But yeah, it's all about like, you know, London hipsters and mocks them and kind of sends stuff like this up.
Is that not cool? And then he makes fun of this big room installation, which, yeah, not my favorite.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. I would probably enjoy having a look at that. But, you know, I also understand that people are going to look at it and be like, oh, this looks like it fucking sucks. And that's fine. Who cares? Like, bro. Charlie is making wrong jokes, you know, casually mocking this modern art exhibit. I must debunk him.
The video has fucking 400 views. What do you expect? This isn't Da Vinci over here. This artist's name is actually Jordan Rathis, and she has done a few of these open room exhibitions of her work, most of it being art films. Not my thing, but when I looked through her website, she did an art installation on a...
Yes, novel and creative. But, like, a lot of people are probably going to think it's a load of pretentious bullshit, and that's fine.
Steamboat, like an old steamboat. That's awesome. I wish there were more pictures of it, but this is the only one. Listen, I don't have to be completely impressed by something to give it credit for creativity and originality, okay? I want to make it clear that this isn't Charlie's fault at all, but holy shit, if you go to the comments of this video...
And by the way, guys, remember, Ethan claimed that Moist Critical was a useful idiot for PragerU's fascist propaganda. Okay? He called PragerU at one point fascist propaganda, and at another point, he said that Moist Critical is a useful idiot for PragerU. When he's just having a laugh completely separate to the points that, you know, PragerU are making. He's just having a laugh with his audience about a bunch of gay shit. Dude, what the fuck, dude? Oh. Is it a modern thing that people aren't like certain art? Well, I think the thing is, you know, I do think that people do paint a broad brush. Excuse the pun. Yeah, obviously, you know, modern art has got a lot of different things going on. It's not all one thing. And for every banana taped to a wall, there's, you know, some other thing that is actually of interest and is not completely bullshit. And, you know, you do need to engage with it a bit. You can't just look at it necessarily. There's a bit more to be found if you look at it a bit more. And I think it's worth doing that. You know, I would say that it's worth going to like a modern art place just with an open mind and seeing what you think, you know? Like, don't not go because, oh, it's modern art and turn your nose up. Just give it a go. And if you genuinely don't like it with an open mind, then fair enough. It's not for you. But yeah, I think you'd probably be surprised if you were to go to something like that and you're very negative about modern art and you genuinely went with an open mind, you'd probably find some pieces that you do like because it's not all the same abstract, gay, you need to understand all this lore to get what it is. Like, some of it is genuinely cool, you know? Hey, someone reached level 12. Thank you. You know, it's like with classical art, right? There's going to be some stuff that you like and some stuff you don't, and it's the same with modern art as well, you know? I should be able to look at it and gain something from it. Well, but that's the thing, is there's some modern art where you don't need to do the research to understand it. You can just go, you can look at it, and, you know, it's there, and you can see it, and you're like, okay. And you'll like it for that reason. So yeah, I just think that, you know, it's not, but I don't know, like, it doesn't need to be this big thing. It's like, obviously, some people are not going to like it regardless, and that's okay. And then some people are just going to have a fucking laugh about it, and that's fine too, you know? Anyway.
It's like nauseating. Yes, I intend to simply spit on a canvas and sell it. Truly what a wonder modern art is. Again, not a thing at all, actually. Humans, we are...
Oh my god, dude. That isn't actually a thing that's happened. The point being made there is you can perform an act that is, you know, a simple act of human excretion, and that could potentially be art, which is, you know, the spirit of which is true. Yes, that is 100% a thing that exists. A human secretion presented as art. Yes.
Are the most intelligent species on Earth.
Well, who cares about what some retards say in YouTube comments anyway, bro? Yeah. Some people have got reductive takes on modern art and having a laugh in YouTube. Who cares, bro?
Also humans. The dude who makes the resin discs is punching the air after he figured out about QR code. Yeah, completely misinterpreting the entire video. Not even paying attention in Charlie's stream.
Dude, that's a funny comment. Yes. Oh my god, bro.
Goes to the video, leaves a comment on the original video without watching it, still getting it wrong. You didn't pay attention. That's so embarrassing for you. Again, it's not Charlie's fault. He has a really big audience and they're very unfunny. So Charlie moves on, looking for a video defending Jackson Pollock, and then gets mad at the title of the video.
Oh, I already hate the way this... I already fucking hate the title. How to understand a Jackson Pollock painting.
Dude, he's not mad. This is funny, yeah. Like, this is exactly the thing that people don't like about modern art. The idea that you have to have a deep understanding of it. You can't just look at it and appreciate it, dude. Yeah. I can see exactly where he's coming from.
As if you're too fucking stupid to get it.
But you don't understand it, though. Is that not your problem? You don't get it. The video he's watching is really ass, though I can't blame him for clowning on it.
Making a painting which is about the substance of paint itself, the fact that paint is liquid.
I say this being what I am, but the accent isn't helping either. There's always an extra level of pretension when it's an English accent that is describing the thing. No!
And when we see paint on canvas, normally that's hidden. You know, paint is made to resemble something else, whether it's a sky or a field or flesh. But what Pollock does is just present us with paint as paint.
But again, he just keeps...
So wait a second, though. So, again, I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but he was correct to be skeptical based on the title, because that's exactly what it was.
They have given 38 gift subs in the
Hey, thank you for the gifted sub.
Keeps focusing on selling the art. That's not what this is about.
He was the first person to do this.
You know what else presents paint as paint? The fucking can that the paint comes in. That's actually kind of smart. Has anyone done that? If you just take like paint cans? Like if I put paint cans on like a table at an art gallery, could I sell that?
The video keeps going and
Yes,
Charlie
you
keeps
probably could. I'm sure that's probably happened. Do you know what it reminds me of? This is a deep cut. This is a little treat for people that know. Geek pie. That reminds me of geek pie. If you know, you know. Okay? That's a little secret reference.
saying that it wouldn't be that hard to make a Jackson Pollock painting.
None of them have the energy, the spontaneity, and the sheer skill in handling paint that he has.
Oh, very skillful.
You read the paint.
Does he see how much paint is on this? It's covered, and it's really big. Like, especially if it's on the ground, he had to walk around and on it. He could swing his whole arm out and still be painting on his canvas. That's unlike any other artist. Listen, maybe it's just me, but knowing this, like, mentally ill, manic, alcoholic freak was sitting in, like, a barn, drunk, flinging paint everywhere in anger, gives a certain emotion to these paintings that I think is very valuable. I'll say it. This is the part that is like the anger and hatred that lives only in this man.
Oh my god. The painting really tells you everything you need to know about the man behind it. Oh, I never stopped to really think about the gestures required for such precision. Like, it looks chaotic to the untrained layman's eye, the Philistines, but when you really take a step back, you can see the laborious nature of each and every splatter.
Okay, so now Charlie is like completely misunderstanding the narrative of the video and is now implying that like they're saying that Pollock meticulously planned every stroke and every little dip and drop. The entire purpose.
Oh my god, dude. To me, I think that what Charlie is pointing out is the absurdity of doing, from his perspective, this hyper autistic analysis of the Pollock painting. And he's contrasting that with the actual artistry required to do an actual painting. And this contrast of like that versus the Pollock thing where he's just wildly swinging paint around. That's my understanding of what he's trying to do there. Seems pretty simple. Maybe
So
I'm
Jackson
wrong, but that's
Pollock
what it
is
seems to be.
not do that. Charlie gets mad again because someone is describing Pollock's painting style by painting with gestures rather than brushstroke, you know, using his whole arm.
His arm, it's who he is as a person that's creating that canvas, that painting.
As opposed to someone who paints using their body as well, but actually paints something. It is still them as a person creating that art. They make this weird distinction. They look for any and all fucking absolutely asinine explanations for why anyone should care.
Even though Charlie's really mad at it, it's a distinction that characterizes
Oh my
his
god,
entire body of
please!
work.
Stop saying he's mad! Oh my god. Are you mad? 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 It's so insufferable. He's not mad. He's having a laugh. Maybe it's the autism where he can't understand basic human emotions and he thinks that laughter is actually a sign of anger or something, dude. Oh, wow.
That is why it looks like this.
Even if I somehow put multiple fingers up my ass, sniffing them to get the fumes up there to really like delusion myself like hugely enough to find any kind of meaning in this, there's no reward in it for me. I don't get anything for it.
I don't know why he says that there's no reward for finding meaning in art. The meaning is the reward. It can change your perspective, make.
Does he not mean for himself? I'm pretty sure Charlie's talking about him personally for himself. I don't know if he's saying for everyone, right? Whereas he is saying you're all wrong about modern art. Very irritating. Anyway, come on, let's get through this. And then we'll do some commentary. Glup shito trans drama. This Jalen retard apparently is quitting, which is hilarious because they called me a fascist recently.
You feel seen, help you understand other people. You just have to be open to it. I've yet to hear a single argument other than non sequiturs and emotional.
In all of human history, Pollock is the only human who was ever mildly angry that he managed to continue doing what he was doing.
Thank you for the $5.
EthanIsOnline.
Oh my god, yes. You make an argument. He's making jokes. Make an argument, will you? Standing up in the middle of a comedy set. Make an argument! I've been looking at Reddit and you're wrong about all the jokes you're making.
Language, why it's not worthwhile to engage with modern art.
There's literally nothing at the end of that tunnel. The only reward is to the artist that put no effort into it and sold it for a lot of money to people that have been brainwashed to make them believe that it's worth that price.
Does Charlie think that the people who are attending museums are buying the art? Again, we're at this weird part where we're mad that paintings cost a lot of money. The only person who needs to worry about that is the bozo buying it. It just really isn't about the money. It's just not. And also, let's be serious for a second. Modern art has money laundering happening in it, sure. But classical art is where the money's at. The most expensive painting in the world sat on a Saudi yacht for 2 years. Yeah, this little T-girl Jesus is the most expensive painting in the world from
Leonardo. T-girl Jesus? That sounds like Chaser logic to me. He's looking at Jesus and seeing a trans. He's licking his lips at the thought of the gawk.
Leonardo da Vinci. It's not even finished. Hair does not look like that. Classical paintings go for way more money, are owned by way worse people if they're not already stolen from the country they belong to.
I don't think anyone's mad that Jackson Pollock trickled little dribblings of paint across a canvas, or someone submitted a canvas they bought from Michaels as art. They're mad about the price that it sells for and the people that defend it. It's never really the piece itself.
So I guess Charlie's biggest problems with modern art are the price it's sold for and the people who defend it, even though he said in the last video that no one defends modern art.
Modern art is one of the most bafflingly outrageous things to me. And the thing is, I never see anyone defend it. I literally never see anybody online defend it that isn't also laundering money with art themselves. Like, it blows my fucking mind.
The people, whatever, art people are freaks. But I don't think he knows anyone in real life who likes modern art.
Oh my god, dude. It's like the hypocrisy hunting, right? You know, stuff said in a moment in a stream that is then used and you debunk what you said earlier. He's making a hyperbolic statement about, again, the people that spend all this money on this shitty art, dude. Oh my god, it's so insufferable. Honestly, he should have stuck with the PragerU stuff. I still think he was being a retard, but at least he had some semblance of a point there, arguably. But dude, this is just battering up against hyperbolic jokes that Moist Critical is making. It's so insufferable, dude.
Think he knows any gay people. And again, the price it sells for is irrelevant. Doesn't reflect on the art at all. It's not a dictation of quality. And the only people paying for it are rich freaks with more money than they need. I would much rather have the money go to a museum where they actually spend it on public education. Some nonprofit museums do college grants. It's not really a bad thing.
That's true, Andy. Yeah, obviously he couldn't just do it on PragerU because no one fucking cares about PragerU. PragerU is a literal dead in the water thing, except for your retarded uncle who, you know, fucking loves war, loves Bush, loves war, you know, loves Israel. Come on. Oh, I'm going to grab a Huel in a sec. We're going to have a little Huel in a minute. Going to get my soy intake for the day after watching this.
When art is sold.
Let's finish
generally.
this.
But what I find so funny is that Charlie never actually brings up an example of art that sells for too much. He just keeps making up examples.
Like we looked at Diana earlier, which was a potted plant that was store-bought and put on a shelf. And that was the art. I'm not mad about that. I think that's fucking great. I think that's a wonderful joke. But if I heard that sold for $100,000, that would be upsetting to me.
Okay, 100K actually. If it's such a horrible problem that is so frustrating that you start the video mad about it, why are there no examples? I think Charlie has been misinformed about modern
Mad again. Everything is he's mad. Oh my god.
art. He said Jackson Pollock a bunch, but it's not exactly a fair example using one of the most well-known artists in America. No shit he's gonna sell for a lot. He's not even making the money. He's dead.
I don't think there's anything anyone could ever say or any explanation for any of this that would ever actually change my mind on the interpretation of empty canvas work and splatter paintings. It is all trash. trash.
If nothing changes Charlie's mind, that's fine. I didn't make this video for Charlie, and I doubt he'll see it. Go to a museum. Learn for yourself. Art is subjective, not in a, I think this is good, and I think this is bad way.
See, the thing is, like, I don't have a problem with go somewhere and do so. I mean, why not, right? You got looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon or whatever, go and have a look. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it and you feel like you've wasted a couple of hours. You know, you probably waste a couple of hours doing some other shit. It's the learn thing. That's the thing I find so obnoxious. You must learn. Go and learn about it. No, just go and have a look and see what you think and leave it at that. Why does it have to be, you must learn to understand the art? It's so insufferable, bro.
But in a way that's unique to everyone. Your appreciation and your taste in art is reflective of your subjective experience, your identity, your personality. These are all factors in observing art. And I think it's far more important to experience and think for yourself rather than letting narratives dictate what you think. I'm going to end this video by telling you about one of my favorite art pieces. It's just a fan, an electric box fan, plugged into the wall in the museum like any other, covered in plexiglass, blowing through just a few holes at the viewer. At first glance, it's just a fan in a room, but the description reads, soon after the death of his
The description, some sob story. Oh my God, this is so obnoxious.
lover, Stephen Arabino from AIDS, Los Angeles conceptual...
No way! It's about AIDS! There's no way it's about AIDS! Oh God, that's unbelievable. What a fucking thing. It's about AIDS. There's no way, dude. No way. Unbelievable. What a finish. What a finish, dude. I love it. I was talking about the AIDS painting earlier, and he's finishing off with the AIDS thing. Oh my God, dude. This dude.
through just a few holes at the viewer. At first glance, it's just a fan in a room, but the description reads, soon after the death of his lover, Stephen Arabino from AIDS, Los Angeles conceptual artist Boscovich discovered that Arabino's family had completely cleared out his apartment, including the artist's possessions, save for the electric box fan in this work. An entire person, existence, and relationship had been erased, like so many were during the AIDS crisis. Boscovich encased the fan in plexiglass as a kind of evidence and created cutouts to allow its circulated air to escape and be felt by the viewer, almost like an exhalation.
You think this is just a fan? Well, the guy that owned it was riddled with AIDS. What now? Dude, it's perfect. This is like the perfect summation of the problem that people have with modern art, man. Basically, it's a thing that brings meaning when you think about the AIDS the guy was riddled with that owned it. Then it becomes something that's got value. Dude, it's perfect.
Sense restoring Arabino's breath, at least as a facsimile in memoriam.
Oh
Boscovich makes
God,
a tender,
dude.
broken-hearted gesture towards some form of eternal life.
It is perfect. Brilliant. Brilliant ending. Brilliant. And it's not, yes, that's brilliant. Yes. Let's go. That was perfect ending. Oh my God. That was literally perfect. That was great. What a great ending. That was spot on. Listen to the AIDS air, eh?
Article.
Oh wait, he's gonna do this.
Bro, it's a jigsaw puzzle painting.
Painter than Thomas Kincaid, which argues
Man's
that
looking for a
Bush's
fucking
recent
intricate
paintings
view of the world to
are more
challenge his thought
interesting
process
than
with a
Kincaid's
fucking
work
jigsaw puzzle.
because they are more inventive.
Oh, dude.
Really just a
That was
money laundering.
brilliant. That was literally brilliant. What a... That just sums it up so perfectly, dude. Oh. Brilliant. Great ending. We'll leave it there. Okay, I need to take a quick break and then we'll do some trans commentary retard shit, okay? Jalen's quitting, apparently. The fucking failed retard YouTuber Jalen is quitting. And, you know, they called me a fascist because I mocked them for having a retarded take on something a little while ago. Oh, yeah, this will be a VOD. Don't worry. This is going to be... That is prime Ethan tent.